Hi students, Mr. Ahmad here and welcome to another short lecture on the characteristics of the tourism industry. How this topic could make an appearance in the O-levels is probably through its infusion with the data response question as a part 2 or a standalone. One example that I can think of could be, based on the trend shown in figure 1, explain why the tourism industry is not constant. So you would need to provide sufficient explanation and provide relevant evidence where necessary. So the first attribute of the tourism industry is that it is easily marketed to the people. So places of attractions of tourist destinations are easily marketed or offered for sale through mass media like television, documentaries, magazines, travel guides, and of course, the internet. And because it is easily marketed to the masses, it is rather reliant on this strategy. The popularity of a place is dependent on the effectiveness of marketing strategies of tourist destinations in creating impressions that arouse curiosity of the people. It can be done through the different media outlets available to the people, as we mentioned before. And this is a video from the Singapore Tourism Board and how Singapore is marketed to the Australians. Do look out for the type of tourism that is being promoted here.
Hey Aussie, you think Singapore is boring?
Predictable?
No tradition.
Get lost. You think Singapore's a bit strict?
Do you think Singapore's a concrete jungle?
Get lost.
Get lost. You think Singapore's got no charm?
Get lost!
Get lost.
Get lost! Get lost!
So you think you've seen all of Singapore? Get lost!
Get lost and find the real Singapore, your Singapore.
And here are some tourism posters from different countries. Note that each of them are trying to attract a different type of tourist in each poster shown. For example, we have scenic-centered or honeypot tourism for Egypt, a more community-based tourism for Malaysia, and in the case of Mexico, even bringing their culture and history of the legend of the chupacabras into the marketing ploy. The third characteristic of the tourism industry will be its vulnerability to loss of intrinsic cultures of destinations. There is a possible erosion of authenticity of cultures and tradition. The commodification of culture happens when traditions, cultures, or values of a group are superseded by a more dominant one. For example, we see in Taiwan's Alishan Aboriginal dances, which were traditionally done to celebrate harvests and rituals in celebrating male abilities, but are now performed just to entertain tourists. And to provide you with further visual aid, here is a video on the cultural tourism found in Kenya.
I do live here in the Samburu.
Americans are searching ever farther to get a glimpse of some of the world's last tribal cultures. In Kenya, visitors are discovering one of the unique places in the world where time has seemingly come to a halt. There are over 40 tribes in Kenya, each with their own language, dress, and unique way to welcome visitors. Located about 100 miles north of Nairobi, these Samburu women are welcoming visitors with traditional songs and dance. The Samburu share these few arid acres with another tribe, the Turkana.
So they both share a life experience of nomadic, means come and move because of water and pasture.
And both are welcoming of guests to visit their community and their homes. Each tribe builds their homes in their own unique style. This one is built from a mixture of ashes and cow dung.
And the other side, the flat houses or rectangular, is the Samburu.
For Western visitors, this is a glimpse back in time to another world they've only seen pictures of. And now they're guests, with the opportunity to be welcomed into the lives of the Samburu. On the other side of Kenya, Olonana Resort offers continual interaction with the local Maasai warriors.
We support a Maasai village here. We have Maasai mamas and they make jewellery and belts and things. We help with the education. Education obviously is a very important thing here. And the Maasai warriors, in turn, we ask them to come down and perform for our guests so that they can see the dances that these guys perform traditionally, which they still do perform. It's not just for the tourists. So when there's a wedding, when they become warriors, this is the kind of thing that we like our guests to see.
On Kenya's coastal island of Lamu, there are two Kipanganis. Kipangani Resort, a charming property comprised of thatched bandas and cottages, and its namesake next door, the village of Kipangani, home of the Bajan tribe.
Well, guests come here at Kipungani. We try to encourage them to go and visit the village and see what they're doing there, and also tell them that we work as a team with the village and help them run their projects.
Kipangani village has been here for 300 years. The tribe's people are fishermen and expert dhow builders, but life has not always been easy for them.
Kuvunjika kijiji sasa kuya hii kambi ndio kijiji kimepanuka. Chanzo cha kipanuka.
So it was a hard time for us, and since we get the lodge, it will be easy for us to sell our weaving, to sell our fish here and get money. And few people like myself, I come employed here.
In fact, half the staff of the resort are tribespeople from Kipungani village next door.
I'm the one who built that banda, and the material get from the village. And we do our bandas here, and people, they like our building style.
So the guests at Kipungani Resort already benefit from the talents of their neighbors just down the beach. And when they visit the village, they have the opportunity to see how their vacation is changing the lives of the Bajan children. For instance, the village now has a full-time nurse.
The nurse is part of our payroll at Kipungani, but she stays in the village on call at Kipungani so that she can assist the village. They need her all the time.
They pay me. They also bring donors. The donors bring medicine. They help with medicine. They have helped with the solar panel. We have lights. They have helped us with fridge. We give the vaccines now to the children.
And so cultural tourism at Kipungani also becomes community tourism, which in turn enriches everyone.
Because of the friendly atmosphere that is found at Kipungani, be it from the guests and from the people themselves, as they work as one community, they are able to offer the best to the guest who stays with us.
The tourism industry is a very volatile one. The tourism industry is subjected to the world's political, economic, and social situations. For example, the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center led to a worldwide tourism slump. Another example would be the spread of epidemics such as SARS and H1N1 flu virus that affected tourism negatively in the Southeast Asian regions in 2003 and 2009 respectively. However, please also note that as much as tourism is a very volatile industry, it can also recover quickly, as shown in the graph for the world's tourist arrival numbers from 97 to 09. And finally, here's a news report on how the H1N1 virus affected tourism adversely in China.
Hello there and welcome to this edition of ICS News. I'm Wang Dong. Good to have you with us. Well, even though the National Day holiday is over, tourism in China is still going strong, unexpectedly so. But post-holiday travelers may well run into a second outbreak of the H1N1 flu. Doctors are warning tourists to take extra care. Chen Yingjie reports, they say this time the outbreak could be different.
The beauty of autumn is making a lot of destinations attractive to tourists, such as Jiuzhaigou in Sichuan and Guilin in Guangxi. And so is the price, down 30 to 50% from the National Day holiday. Employees at one Shanghai travel agency say they are far busier now than they had expected.
The 2 weeks after the National Day holiday used to be a slack season for tourism, but it seems that more people are traveling this year. We're now getting 70% more tourists compared to this time last year.
With an increasing number of people choosing to travel after the National Day holiday, doctors are warning them to take protective measures against the H1N1 flu. They say a second outbreak is coming as temperatures in the northern hemisphere drop. Unlike the previous outbreak that was mostly among incoming passengers from overseas, doctors say the next outbreak will be domestic because so many people are on the move. Researchers now know the flu virus is mostly transmitted through saliva. So crowded public places like railway stations and airports bring a higher risk of infection.
People should take extra care when they have to go to those crowded places, especially when they are indoors with poor ventilation. Wash your hands frequently and keep yourself clean, because the virus can be passed on if the infected saliva falls on your skin or your clothes.
Shanghai has already started giving H1N1 flu vaccinations to medical professionals. Doctors say the next group to get the shots will be people who have frequent contact with the public, such as those working in public transportation and schools. Chen Tingjie, ICS News.
With that, I hope that you've learned something today, and keep in mind that these are the characteristics of the tourism industry.